The My Pillow guy is canceled, Joe. Did
I
you
mean,
know?
wasn't he was canceled months ago, wasn't he?
No, but he's canceled. You need to know that he's canceled. Don't you understand how bad this is?
I
A
mean, how
man who
bad?
makes pillows, Joe.
I mean, it is a man who makes pillows. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Now that you mention it, and he's hugging that pillow pretty closely.
He hugs that pillow. He loves that pillow.
That mustache is so unsettling. I don't know why.
So my pillow guy, Mike Lindell, he's back with a new commercial about being canceled, and I think we should just watch it. So we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and My Pillow, but millions of you out there. Before all this started, I had already written in my memoir, I dedicate this book to anyone who's looking for hope. Well, right now, we're all looking for hope. I believe that my story is going to bring inspiration and hope to everyone. By the time you're done reading my book, you will believe that with God, all things are possible. To thank all of you out there for your support, I'm offering some of the best prices ever on My Pillow products, including this exclusive bundle. You get my book and these 5 My Pillows. They're all scenes right out of the Bible, and the stories are on the back. You would normally get this bundle regularly $219, now just $99.98 with your promo code and free shipping. So go to mypillow.com/USA and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer. Thank you and God bless. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell.
Whoa, no, we don't need to see that twice.
Wow.
Okay.
So, wait, did he get approval from the Catholic Church to do that? Do you have to get approval to do that?
You don't need approval from anyone, okay? You don't need approval. All
I
right.
guess Mike Lindell doesn't.
Yeah.
Kind of crawled out from under a rock after a couple months. It's pretty bizarre.
Bible pillows?
Bible pillows.
$100 for 5 Bible pillows. You think that's a good deal?
I mean,
let's start there.
No. Flat out, no.
I appreciate that you thought about it. You know, you were like,
I had to think about it. This is like, a startling subject.
No, actually, no.
I don't want that. Don't want any part of it. Please send it back.
That was one of the most confusing 60 seconds I've seen in a while.
What were those scenes? What Bible scenes were those?
I'm sure one of them has to be like Noah's Ark because evangelicals are obsessed with the Ark. Right?
Probably the birth of Jesus, of course.
Yeah, like, maybe the birth of
the
Jesus.
star in the sky and the 3 wise men. Right? 3 wise men?
Maybe.
I'm not a wise man right now. I apologize.
Yeah, that was a lot to take in all at once. That book looked so cheaply printed. Did you notice that? It's like the copy that he's holding for the video. You would think you'd get like a nice, even if that's going to be the final version that most people get, you think you get a nice copy for the video maybe, but that book looked really cheaply printed, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it might bleed out after the first wash.
It looked really flimsy.
And Jesus is going to look like he's dealing with something. But like, I don't know. It's just a bizarre idea. What sparked this, Mike Lindell? Like, I'm not actually asking him personally. I don't
also, how has cancel culture affected his pillow? He got to hang out with the former president and get tons of sales out of it. Like,
this is just, he's become a meme though. Like, he shouldn't have. I feel like after you do this, after you hit the internet like that, gotta go into recluse for more than a couple months, Mike. I don't know.
Yeah, That's one of the strangest things I've seen in a while. That's a very weird.
I'm just kind of in shock.
I do want the pillows a little bit.
I don't.
I just want to see them in person. You know, like I don't really want to own them, but like I really want to see it. I wonder if anyone. I don't know anybody that would buy these.
There's got to be like a My Pillow museum or something.
A My Pillow museum.
My God, he's been around for years.
Wow.
He's timeless.
We were talking about nostalgia happening faster yesterday. Here we go. Let's just already get nostalgic about My Pillow.
I don't like this.
Let's open the My Pillow museum. We'll get some Republican congressmen to stop by for the opening. You know, we'll dedicate it to the life and hard work of a man who made a pillow and really
I'm
wants
seeing
you to
a
know about
sash
it.
made out of pillows for some reason, just tiny pillows.
A sash made out of tiny pillows.
Yeah, tiny pillows.
Holy shit. Yeah. And then we have the mayor of Pillow Town.
And then we put him in a white room. All pillows.
The mayor of Pillow Town. Somebody out there has a My Pillow collection. I agree. Somebody has it. If you have a My Pillow collection and you're willing to let me borrow the Christian pillows for this show,
I don't want to borrow it. Just
no
take
one's
a
gonna
picture
agree
of
to
it.
this,
Send it
but
to us. Please
I
don't
want to
send it.
see it in person, Joe.
You can
don't
go there then. I don't want any part of this.
I don't want to go to this person's house. I want them to ship me the pillows, and then I will ship them back smelling like weed smoke.
Okay. Seems legit. Not gonna lie. I just don't. I don't understand. Is this a marketing scheme? Like, was that the idea? But cancel culture.
He's selling
what
a book
millions?
To sell more pillows. Books have really fallen down the ladder of respectability. You remember when writing a book used to be seen as like a respectable activity? Even in my lifetime, I can kind of remember that still a little bit. But like,
now I feel like you only do it when you're depressed.
It's like this dude is writing a book to sell more pillows.
Oh God. So this is his love memoir of some kind. Oh God.
Yeah, it's a book of erotic fiction about him making love to various pillows.
Now I'm thinking about my oranges being tiny pillows, and I don't want to eat them anymore. Oh.
Every orange
that's disheartening.
It's just nature's succulent pillow.
Now I really don't want to eat them.
Hang on. I'm just going to zoom in on your face. I've disgusted this man. Okay. No. So I'm slipping off my armrest. I'm not used to this. I got a new chair.
Oh.
It's not very exciting. But
does it have pillows?
I should is there a My Chair guy? Is there like a guy who's really passionate about his chair? But no, we should make a pillow. We should make a pillow. We should have a Velvet Butcher Shop pillow.
But what would we call it?
And we can hug it all the time while we're on the show. While we're here hosting, just hugging our pillows. Hey, we're back. It's Velvet Butcher Shop. Speaking of which, that
don't zoom in on me. What just happened? Come back, Kennedy.
I'm full of technical difficulties today. Speaking of Velvet Butcher Shop, that's what you're watching. My internet is a little squirrely right now. I feel like that's a hurt story though. It's like everybody's online because of the pandemic, and the internet is just there's not enough of it to go around anymore. Wasn't there like a South Park or something about this? There's not enough internet left. I feel like that
about
really is the
everything, feels like.
world that we live in the pandemic. There's not enough internet left for everyone. But anyway, you're watching Velvet Butcher Shop, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. But before we go, I'm just going to remind y'all to subscribe to the show. Tell your friends to subscribe. Log into your third Google account. Subscribe again. You know, get us to 100 subscribers so that we can get a link that says Velvet Butcher Shop instead of a bunch of weird shit. And we'll see you in a second. I was warned about the armrests on this chair, for the record. And you know, my review of this chair that I was given for free, don't like the armrests. We've got a couple of comments. If My Pillow made the ones with the arms to hug you back, that'd be perfect. He really needs to, because he's always up there hugging those pillows. He needs a pillow that's like, this man needs a pillow that reciprocates the feelings that he has for pillows. It's only right.
So, if I'm reading this right, between 2020 and 2021, he spent a total of like 69 million on those commercials.
He makes a lot of money somehow.
Why is it such a comical number? I guess 69 isn't really comical anymore. It's kind of lost its luster.
Yeah. 69 is dead. We killed it. Actually, people like Joe Exotic killed it.
Oh. That's a pull.
So
isn't he still in jail?
Yeah, I think so. So we watched some Tiger King 2.
A little bit.
A little tiny bit of Tiger King 2. And I have not seen Tiger King. Yeah, my money laundering. I agree. This guy is like a cocaine magnate or something. You know.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, this is parody. Wink, wink. But like, yeah.
It's just kind of bizarre.
I mean, it's like that to tie this to the other subject. It's like Tiger King, because like Don Lewis, that guy, also a cocaine magnet.
Now that you mention it, Don Lewis was pretty sus when we were watching it the other night or yesterday. Hey, I've lost track of time.
People have too much credulity towards certain things, and like people believe too much when the system tells them some things sometimes, like things about how people make money or how things get accomplished. Anyway, all I'm saying is that shipping pillows around is a great front for drugs.
I mean, apparently so is like Tiger selling.
Apparently, I think that was just Don Lewis's hobby. So I didn't watch any of the original Tiger King.
I mean, that's a pretty illegal hobby.
So I just watched some of Tiger King 2, and I have opinions. Now, it's not entirely illegal. It's kind of legally complicated to keep a tiger, as I understand it. It varies somewhat by state, which is part of why so many crazy tiger people all live in one place.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm appalled by Tiger King.
I mean, Tiger King 2. You haven't seen 1. So.
Yes, correct.
You don't get all the backstory.
I don't, but I feel like I essentially do also.
Fair, you did guess the plot pretty quickly.
First of all, everyone online has been talking about this show. Second of all, it basically the beginning of Tiger King 2 was just like, by the way, this is everything that you need to know about what's going on to a large extent, and just recaps. Hey, by the way, Joe Exotic's in jail. Carol Baskins, what's up with her? There's this dead guy, this some other shit. And then it just starts getting into that. Tiger King 2 is just like a shitty, gross, awful true crime show.
It kind of is.
It's not even about cats, except tangentially. Every now and again, they're like, and then, by the way, while there was possibly a murder going on, there was a tiger nearby.
Maybe.
While there was money laundering going on, there was a tiger nearby.
I'm trying to remember specific scenes from that show, and like ones that really stand out to me are the chicken psychic guy.
The chicken psychic. Oh my! They brought in the psychic.
He was like some sort of clairvoyant or something, or psychic medium, and I don't remember, but. I don't remember what caused him to do it, but he just started throwing up in the bushes, saying bad juju.
That was too much. This is like the weird, terrible docuseries crap that used to be on like Fox back in the day. Netflix has gone from making prestige television to making Fox channel, like daytime Fox channel shit.
I mean, like, it does feel that way. It does feel like I'm watching like a local news channel follow this strange series of events that are happening in this small town outside of.
Like, it feels like an episode of Cops.
Really? Yeah. I expected Bad Boys to start playing in the beginning. But I feel like it clears. For some reason, I feel like it really leans towards clearing Carol Baskin's name after the fact.
Somewhat, but it's all over the place. They do a lot of weird emotional manipulation stuff, like being like, Carol Baskins seems a little too nonchalant, don't you think? And then it shows her like walking around, like smiling, and it's like, well, yeah, she smiles sometimes.
Do you remember? Do you remember the lawyer? The lawyer who looks like the freaking Zodiac killer.
That John Wiley or some shit like that. His name is John.
I don't remember what it was called, but like what his name was. But
that guy's just a con artist. It's so
I'm pretty sure. Like, I've finally gotten the family to trust me. Was the line where I was just like, oh my god, this guy's gonna.
Oh, Jack. Well, because there was Jack, the YouTube guy, and then John, the lawyer. Just two generic dude guys. Yeah,
Jack, Ripper Jack, or whatever his name is.
I can't believe how much of this I'm trying to like actually pull.
I'm like really thinking hard about it because this show had such an impact with certain parts of it, but like other parts, it feels like you're watching something from the 90s that you shouldn't be watching.
Yeah, like it has the vibe of like grimy late 90s, early 2000s reality TV, like Eliminate or some shit. You remember that show?
Yeah.
Come on,
that's
like
exactly
way late, and there's like nothing else to even watch hardly if you're watching TV that late. You don't have like cable.
It's just I'm trying to like piece together the series of events that happened, and like I feel like even out of order, they're in order for the show, which is kind of amazing a little bit. but also, I don't know. It's just kind of bizarre. It's really like something out of the 90s that somebody has taken out of context and tried to frame into like, oh, it's 2021. There's weird shit happening.
We will have to do an episode of Velvet Butcher Shop about Eliminate. But we'll have to source some clips.
What is Eliminate?
Remember how we were just talking about that reality show from like the early 2000s that was like one of the early reality dating shows?
So I heard something else.
Okay. No, that was one of the trashiest fucking late night reality shows that you could watch in like 2003.
Is that the one with all like the emojis and like the speech bubbles and facts about like dating and stuff?
It would have the speech bubbles, I think. Yeah. I think that's the one. We're gonna do an Eliminate episode. We're gonna do some research. We're gonna pull some clips. I'm gonna remind myself of something I haven't thought about since I was like 12.
Yeah, I mean,
that'll be maybe next week or later in the week or something. Back to things that we did watch recently, though. So here's what I want to say about Tiger King that is so distressing is that they are so blatantly creating an emotionally manipulative narrative. Oh wait, Brandon's in the comment. That's Blind Date that had the speech bubbles. They came on back to back.
They did? Wow. Was that on Fox?
I think it was on like NBC or something. I don't remember.
Oh man, I feel old.
Yeah. No kidding. What I find most distressing about Tiger King, though, is that they're creating a blatantly emotionally manipulative narrative to try to like sort of convince you of like certain salacious things possibly being true. They don't really try to push you in one particular direction. They push you in a lot of different directions. I agree, Brandon. But like all the directions they push you in are the least reasonable ones for the most part. Like they emphasize like all of the least reasonable storylines and use emotionally manipulative storytelling to make you feel a type of way about it. And what sucks is that I saw a lot of people that I actually respect completely fall for this when Tiger King 1 came out. Because I remember people online being like, yeah, fuck Carole Baskins. She obviously murdered her husband, all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, apparently they forgot to tell you in season 1 that Don Lewis was like a drug lord of some kind. He was fucking flying
really shady stuff in Cuba.
Unregulated, unlisted flights by himself with boxes full of money to Costa Rica and shit. And
all right,
like
spoilers.
Other places, like I don't give a shit. Spoilers, I guess. But what the? You spent an entire season convincing the world that Carole Baskins had to have been the one to do it. Don was just a good guy who loved his tigers, blah, blah. And then, oh, by the way, season 2, actually, he was flying hundreds of thousands of dollars out of the country in secret on a regular basis.
Also, didn't have a pilot's license and crashed his plane multiple times.
He didn't have a pilot's license because of too many crashes. This man probably just crashed a plane into the ocean and died.
Yeah,
but they don't even really touch it. They barely briefly. There's like one person who's like, he might have crashed his plane into the ocean, but I don't believe it. And it's like, oh, why did that person bring that up? Is it because it's a prevailing theory that is not being mentioned by this insane garbage show that's all about just provoking the most ridiculous, salacious
and like the crazy old guy who's just like, I received a message from the FBI telling me that he was alive. These are like certain moments where I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this before a long time ago on like some sort of local broadcast television show that was supposedly news based. God, it was nuts. It was a nutty show, and I think it's worth a watch, but like
I don't. I felt like demonic entities were trying to steal my soul while I was watching it.
You did mention a couple times, like, I want to stop. I want to stop watching, but I can't.
So one thing that they talk about very little in Tiger King, but that we actually kind of wanted to make one of our main topics today, is the treatment of animals, somewhat in general, but especially in like media. One thing I find very weird about Tiger King is that I think in part because it is a docuseries, it's like it's acceptable for them to just show these clearly bad conditions that some of these animals are in, like it's no big deal, and like not draw attention to it. Because it's like, well, we're not responsible for the animals, right? Like, because like if you were making a movie and you were just like keeping the animals in some of these terrible conditions that you just see, and again, there's no mention of this, at least it's season 2, but just occasionally, you know, they'll just be showing these shots of people talking or whatever near their tigers or their other rare cats, and you can tell that the conditions that the cat is in is bad. You can just tell that from just 30 seconds of seeing this. Not all the time. Sometimes it seems like they're doing okay, but like some of them seem like they're not doing well.
Yeah.
It feels really weird that like they're kind of allowed to like milk and exploit that without any real consequences, because again, it's like, well, we're not abusing the animals, and what these people are doing is technically somewhat legal, and unless the police get involved, blah blah blah, right?
Like, I don't really know who would oversee this. Like, is there a... Hang on, let me check. It's the Public Health Service is supposed to be overseeing the testing on animals. Testing on animals, that's not what I was looking up.
I mean, animal control, maybe?
I guess. But, like, who do you even call? Like, what do you call, like, about a tiger zoo that you don't know is, like, properly licensed and all that stuff? I don't know if it's always a tiger zoo, but it's just kind of bizarre to think about.
It is pretty weird.
And are they technically livestock at that point?
I don't think so, but also I don't know. The laws are complicated and bad. There's been some pushes to like ban this sort of thing entirely.
I wish they banned puppy mills.
Which like, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think it's as important the kinds of animals that you ban people from owning as the practices. Like, most of the legislature that I've seen is explicitly like, hey, you can't own a tiger or a lion, which could be good in some ways, to be clear, but like it seems like what you should be doing is banning practices, because like people are just gonna like find some other exotic animal and abuse it instead if you don't make the abuse itself illegal.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stories of just like kind of sketchy people doing this kind of thing too, where it's just like some guy strapped a bunch of turtles to himself, tried to get through TSA or something. He duct taped turtles to himself and thought that was a good idea. I remember reading this story a long time ago.
He duct taped turtles to like under his clothes, I'm guessing.
And tried to get through a TSA checkpoint and got stopped. And there were exotic turtles that he was trying to sell in another country. I can't remember which country, but I remember this story being pretty popular when I was younger.
Did he really think that was going to work?
I don't even know. People do weird stuff all the time. Maybe he put them in a suitcase or something and duct taped them. I don't know. There was duct tape.
It's fucked up.
Duct tape and turtles.
It's bizarre. It's fucked up and bizarre.
Smuggling of animals, I think, falls under something in Interpol.
Yeah,
who knows?
I think it can also be a customs issue.
It could be a customs issue.
But yeah, it's a bizarre but lucrative, surprisingly lucrative for some people, crime that isn't really thought about a lot. How do some of these exotic animals make it into the country in the first place?
I mean, a lot of it is based in smuggling.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not always asked a lot, and it's like, yeah, they're being smuggled in a lot of the time. They're being illegally caught, first of all.
Then backyard.
Like there are some creatures like tigers. I don't think there's any place you can legally catch a tiger, unless I'm mistaken. I think.
Question. Let me look.
Unless you explicitly maybe have some kind of permission for research purposes or something, but like you just like a regular person, like there's not like a tiger season anywhere.
The first thing that came up was, is it legal to catch a tiger by the toe? And the answer was no.
No. Not by any other part of its body either, but especially not the toe. That's an even greater charge.
Doesn't
look couple extra
like...
years on your sentence.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anywhere legal to do it anymore.
So if there's a company that imports tigers and sells them, first of all, there's no place that it's legal for anyone to catch that tiger. Second of all, the importation of it is going to be illegal also. But in some cases with exotic animals, once you have it, if no one can prove that you did anything wrong, then you can sell it. It's pretty weird, but it seems like it should be obvious that if you're importing a tiger, that it could not have been obtained legally, but that's the magic of capital.
I'm just reading like what other uses tigers have. And
don't subject yourself to that.
Nothing is good.
None
of this is good. Wow. Thank you, Wikipedia. Have a nice day. Not going down that rabbit hole ever again. Wow. I did not realize that was a thing. Oh my God. Okay.
All right.
Do we have something else we can move on to?
Yeah, we do. We can move on to talking about Samurai Cat.
Please get these images out of my head.
Something wholesome. We've been talking about a lot of horrible stuff so far today. We also had a pleasant subject plan. It's a show that we watched like a year ago during the height of the pandemic, while we were both feeling kind of sad.
Oh, that was.
And we found this show called Samurai Cat, and we're gonna watch the trailer of it with y'all real quick so you can get a peek into what Samurai Cat is like, and then we'll talk about our experiences with it.
Sesha, 元加賀藩、剣術指南役。なお、まだらめ九太郎。前川の猫。切ったし。切るべし。切るべし。切るべし。まあ、切ってないけど。 外。
So
猫
cute.
犬好き。すげえあんたと立ち会いて断る。
猫を飼ってるんですか？
飼ってない。
聞くなよ。猫泥棒したんですよね。
やはり来た。猫回線チェックイット。猫ザムラ。カモ。苦虫。
So Samurai Cat is a wonderful show.
It really is.
It really is. You could probably tell from the trailer that it's cute and fun and etc. But like, it really is everything it promises to be and much, much more. One of the interesting things about this show too is the treatment of animals on the show is actually something that they documented and like released a behind the scenes episode about. And it was actually very impressive. It was like gold standard stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how like that process worked. Wasn't it like 3 cats?
Yeah, so they had 3 different cats that all looked pretty much the same, although occasionally you could kind of tell. That had different personalities that they used when they needed different kinds of behaviors, rather than like trying to like scare a cat when you need it freaked out and then drug it when you need it sleepy, something like that. They just had one cat that was just very sleepy and didn't do much and just liked to lay around. And that was the cat that they used when they needed the cat to just be still, and things like that. It was just clear that they treated the cat very well on set, or all 3 of the cats rather, very well on set, and all of these things from the way they documented it. Could they have been lying to us? Of course, probably they could, but I don't think that they were necessarily. They seem pretty.
I mean, they were under a lot of public observation,
and they were under a lot. They were under a lot of public observation while they were filming.
This guy's a relatively popular actor over there.
Well, also, they were filming in a famous location. Because they were filming in like a famous, like feudal Japan park, essentially. Like how we have those like go to a pioneer town, and there's like a guy in a dumb hat, and he's like working a billows or something, and you're like, wow.
But this was supposed to be like Kyoto in the Edo period or something.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
Back when they still had like a shogun and all that, before westernization, of course.
Yeah. So I just think it's really interesting because sometimes it's hard to know if it's ever okay to use an animal in a show, I think.
Yeah.
Like and watching that show, we were uncomfortable at certain points before we watched the behind the scenes thing, because we were like, are they treating this cat okay?
Because it looked like it was drugged. It looked like it was high. But in fact, the cat was just really tired.
Yeah, they're just swapping to the lazy
really
cat.
Sleepy cat.
So I don't know. Like, what do you think that? Do you think that in time we'll just probably do away with this because of CGI? And do you think that that's better?
No, I don't know. Because I feel like there's a lot of realism that comes from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the cat doesn't talk really during that entire thing unless he hallucinates, I'm pretty sure, at one point. But I feel like with something like this, it's literally, it's in the show name. It's in the script. And like, you need a natural cat. Otherwise, I don't know. It just looks weird. I remember we were watching that one film, something in space, like on Amazon, where that cat got sucked into the wall and all that stuff. That was a whole thing for me. That was a lot. And that was a cartoon. Like that was obviously like some sort of anime that we were watching.
Yeah.
And I was still disturbed by it. And I feel like I would be, if something like that happened to a cat on set, I'd be pissed. And even if it was CGI, I'd be kind of like, oh, this isn't really my kind of thing. Not really into the animal abuse thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I agree that definitely in the case of Samurai Cat, you have this everything. There's nothing like mystical in that show or magical. There's no CGI. It would have felt very out of place if like you have this sort of like cartoonish,
like there's a green
CGI
screen cat. Whoa.
You know, as opposed to a real cat. But if you could have CGI, like CGI keeps getting better all the time. If you could have CGI that was good enough that you really, really couldn't tell the difference.
Oh God! Now I'm just imagining a cat with Chris Pratt's face like CGI on it. Oh God, that's
coming soon. I've got the Garfield shirt on. I know yesterday was Monday, but I just saved my frustration about Monday till today.
Healthy.
But yeah, no. If you could have CGI animals in your movie that looked exactly like the real thing, like exactly.
I mean, as long as they don't start talking. I don't know why. That always puts
real
me
problem
off.
here is talking animals.
I guess not my thing. After Aristocats, I think I'm a little scarred because of how racist that show
We're
was.
2 for 2 episodes of you unexpectedly bringing up Aristocats.
I'm sorry, I watched it again recently.
Why? Why did you watch Aristocats?
I don't know. I used to like those songs. I don't know why.
Aristocats is one of the rare animated films where animals were harmed in the making.
It's a cartoon. I guess it is a Disney film.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why you would watch the Aristocats.
We were on the subject of cats, man. Like we did Tiger King. We did.
I guess
Samurai
it relates a little more today. We are talking about cats.
I promise not to bring it up anymore.
The Aristocats is bad. That's my review.
Fair enough. I wonder, like, for some reason, I'm trying to think of other shows that might have like potentially violated some sort of animal law. Now I'm thinking about an animal lawyer.
Well, you know how like a lot of movies in like the 70s and 80s had chimpanzees in them doing something comedic?
Yeah.
That was a big messed up thing.
Didn't something happen in Marley and Me?
I think they killed a chimp in one movie. It might have been that one.
There was a chimp in Marley and Me?
Oh. Was there not? I thought you were referencing a movie with a chimp in it.
I have no idea. I watched some of these, but like
But yeah, some chimps died. Also, like what we associate with like what looks like when a chimp is smiling really big is actually a face that it often makes when it's in fear.
Is that like that quokka thing?
Yeah.
Where got the little smile. It looks like Ben Stiller trying to smile.
Yeah, so like a lot of those movies were just straight up abusing chimps. A few chimps died, and that's really like where like the pushback on like a lot of modern Hollywood films and the kind of regulations that they have about animal usage was from that era.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, a little film history. We're talking about weird stuff today.
Weird subject today.
We might have a guest though.
Might.
Appearing. at any minute. And if he shows up, we're probably going to switch gears and talk about fashion. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be back in 60 seconds after a very brief break and reminding you what this show is and how you can support. And I'm back. Oh shit, we're back.
Sorry. I was trying to figure out where my cat went for a second.
We were talking about fictional cats. Now we've got real cat problems.
I think he might have run out, which is good. Sorry. Okay. Anyway.
We're back. We're talking about cat media. We're talking about animals in film. We're talking about, I don't know, weird shit.
Weird stuff.
It's
been a weird day.
Stuff. Do you think that like the human relationship to like pets and cute animals in general is like kind of flawed or problematic in some ways?
Sometimes I feel it is. I feel like people sometimes will allow certain aspects of themselves to be put upon a dog or like an animal in some way, shape, or form. And like, I don't know, that animal becomes very aggressive or like uncomfortable in certain situations. But it depends on the training, really. I think that's what a lot of this is like training and just learning processes. Like, apparently dogs can have ADHD, which I did not know. And cats can have diabetes, which is
that I did know.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah,
because I'm just imagining a tiny syringe, or like a tiny little thing to read their blood glucose levels.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. I think that there is something kind of natural to like the long-standing relationship that humans have with animals that's kind of codependent. And like it is clear that like a cat will choose society over non-society, for instance. Like sometimes. In a lot of cases, if you give a cat a choice between like living in the forest or living in the city, a lot of cats will choose the city.
Well, yeah, because food is readily available.
Yeah. There's resources that they need readily available. And things that and also things like shelter from the rain, warmth, things like that are more available in the city. You know, there's nothing to provide significant warmth out in the woods. You just have to hunker down somewhere in like a cave or something. But in the city, they can actually find like, you know, a place where heat blows up from the subway or something like that. And so I don't think it's entirely unnatural. I do think that there are flaws to the way that we sometimes like treat animals societally. And I think that's part of why it's hard to like root this entirely out of our media in having like problematic things with that. Here we got a cat question. You know, I just saw someone posted take me back there with a picture of the original I Can Has cheeseburger cat. I saw that literally this morning. So it's very funny that you bring that up.
I really want a cheeseburger now. I
Yeah,
Can
kinda
Has
want a
cheeseburger.
Yeah, can I has
Me, please.
me? What do you make of the idea that people's relationship to pets gardening is a way to cope with how wildly modern life abstracts us from nature? Yeah, no, I think that totally makes sense, and I think it's actually like it is a good thing to connect with nature on any level practically. And remind yourself that like that's the system from which we come. Like I think a lot of that makes sense as a coping mechanism. I do think though that a lot of times people want like an overly sterile version of the thing. Like people want their garden to be clean and tidy and bug free and all of these things, and that's not really connecting with nature per se, as opposed to like if you set up like a wild pollinator garden where like, you know, bees and beetles and certain kinds of flies and things like that would actually be encouraged to come in and like feed off of your flowers and stuff like that. That's good for the environment.
Oh, like creating just an entire ecosystem out of your backyard, basically.
Yeah, or just even just taking a section. I mean, you don't have to dedicate your whole garden to this. You can still grow some kale and some carrots and some potatoes and whatever you want to eat too. But like if you take one or some mushrooms, although that's not as much of an outdoor gardening activity.
I mean, you put it underneath the shed.
It depends on what you're growing. If you're growing something like oyster mushrooms, you should just fill a bag with straw.
I thought it was wood chips.
Either one. Depends on the mushrooms a little too.
You're the mushroom expert.
I am the mushroom expert. This is fun. I'm always revealing weird things that I know on shows like this. I don't mention a lot.
Whoops.
But yeah, no, it's fine. I don't care. I know how to grow edible mushrooms. In theory, I could probably also grow psilocybin, but it's harder. It's much easier to just grow some oyster mushrooms that are delicious.
What's your favorite wild mushroom?
So
Greenhouse Gaslighting asked.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Favorite wild mushroom? Probably lion's mane. That's also a good one to grow.
I'd say Dyer's polypore.
Oh, look at this!
Just because of the process of its like infection and it actually being the butt of the like rotting tree. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And then we use it in dyeing process sometimes for shirts or like certain wools, and it creates this really beautiful golden brownish kind of tan color. I don't know. Very gorgeous, really fun to work with too. Just smells kind of weird when it's cooking.
What do you think about lobster mushrooms?
Isn't that Rusula that's been infected with something?
Yeah, so well, and it could be a couple other things too. Rusula is one of them though. So lobster mushrooms are really cool because you start with one mushroom and then it gets infected with this other fungus that changes the entire outside of it. So these mushrooms that were usually white or brown become orange and like red and yellow, like
it's wild,
like a lobster. And also what's cool about that is that once they've undergone that process, they're always edible, even if they weren't before.
They actually smell like lobsters a little bit too, like shellfish, really.
But yeah, very seafoody. But isn't that crazy? They can take a mushroom that wasn't edible and make it edible.
Now, isn't a Rusula kind of edible?
Rusulas are, but lobster mushrooms can infect like 6 other species.
I thought it was specifically like. I need to look up some of these facts.
Sorry. Yeah, fungus facts. We need a fungus facts graphic to just throw on the screen right now. Oh, fungus facts.
I don't. We're gonna end up running out of fungus and getting into like mold and stuff. I don't know if we want to get there.
I don't think this is possible, but I'm no expert.
Lobster magic mushrooms. That sounds terrifying.
I'm no expert, so again, I'm way more knowledgeable about edible mushrooms, actually.
Yeah.
I do approve of magic mushroom treatments for therapeutic usage, though, and I have a friend who's working on getting a license to do that legally.
I think it just got approved up here.
More and more states are approving it for therapeutic usage. It's been approved here for some therapeutic purposes.
I read something the other day that psychologists in Australia or New Zealand or something like that, they don't have to, but like they are allowed to take magic mushrooms to understand their patients better.
Now we need to talk about that more. People are always talking about the patients taking the mushrooms, but actually the therapist should be dosing like once a month, maybe. If they're
find that
hearing all these people's problems and shit. Damn. Brandon has the hot take here. No mushrooms are edible.
Get out. Come back. Now I forgot what I was looking up. Therapists using magic mushrooms
on themselves
to understand patients better. Wow, Google, you're getting a mouthful.
You should you intake a new patient, and then every time you the day that you intake that new patient, you just trip.
Australia.
That's wild, especially because Australia is like kind of super fascist.
Australian therapists to be given psilocybin to better understand patients. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's based. Huh.
And it's based out of a study from UCLA as well.
I approve of that 100%.
Generalized anxiety disorder. That's like one of the main treatments for it. Which, I mean, makes sense if you're microdosing it.
Yeah, it's also effective for PTSD and some other conditions.
I've heard that with veterans as well. Like complex PTSD. That's wild. Yeah, I knew I had something for that because I read that article a while ago and was like, Kennedy would like this. I don't know why I didn't send that to him.
Good stuff. Very interesting. Gosh, we've covered some interesting topics today. I could talk about fungus for a while too, honestly. We really should have a fungus facts
Fun guy
logo,
Friday.
so we'll just make that a segment. We just start talking about fungus.
I don't know why I just said that. I just suggested the worst name ever. Okay.
I mean, but yes.
Great mushroom.
Actually, just say that you were using the mushrooms in self-defense.
Is imposter syndrome nowadays just somebody saying Amogus over and over again?
Yes. Imposter syndrome is when you're playing Amogus and you just keep getting picked as imposter every round.
I don't mean to make light of that. Imposter syndrome is a very real thing.
Fungus.
Thank you, Brandon.
Funguses do kind of be like that sometimes, though, you know?
They grow on you.
Yeah. Especially once you die.
Okay.
Then they really grow on you.
I mean, is that true?
It can be.
If they're not embalmed correctly.
They break down dead stuff. Like, that is what mushrooms do.
But would it still be in the process even after, like, I guess the embalming process?
No, fuck that question. Here's my question. If you eat a mushroom that was grown off a corpse, is that cannibalism?
I don't know, but probably. But is it veganism? I don't even know. God,
Do you remember
it came off
that,
of something with a face.
do you remember that vegan that made the tofu like thing that was supposed to be like human flesh? The Hufu? Do you remember that?
What? What?
There was a vegan that made a human flesh substitute out of soy and other stuff that he called Hufu. It was a tofu-like product.
Really?
Yeah.
What? I don't know how I feel
Wait,
about
is this true? Could someone fact check this? We don't have a
Fungus?
show fact checker yet because we're in our very first week of a brand new show.
Guess
We're not
that's
that
me.
sophisticated. I guess that's Joe's just been kind of being fact checker this episode. So guess what, buddy? You volunteered.
It's real.
It really does. Oh my gosh.
It's real. Hang on.
Oh my gosh. Can we? We gotta get image of this on screen.
There you go.
Hang on, folks. We're gonna look at fungus. I don't even know what's happening right now. But here's fungus.
And then here's Amoongus. Man, that link is huge.
It's like made out of Pokeballs. This thing looks weird.
It looks scary.
Yeah.
Looks like a lamppost that I wouldn't want to approach.
A lamppost that you wouldn't want to fuck with. You ever seen a lamppost and thought, I don't want to pick a fight with that lamppost. Actually,
why is this lamppost in this dark alley?
Because they're made out of metal, so I don't want to pick a fight with a stationary metal object.
Just a pair of shields. What?
We're just learning so many things today.
Learn with us.
Learn with us here on the Velvet Butcher Shop.
Help us. I had a weird question for you. Like, so since you know so much about mushrooms, is there a mushroom that's like kind of on borderline illegal to grow in certain areas?
Besides psilocybin?
Besides psilocybin. That's super illegal.
Not everywhere.
Not everywhere, but here.
Yeah.
Right now.
Not where I live.
That's fair.
You just can't dry them. You can't pick them.
I mean, you are in a dry environment.
It's a great point.
What? You
there was a court case. There was a court case. A guy won a court case. His lawyer was some kind of super genius, I guess, and basically argued that, well, mushrooms just grow where they want. You can't stop a fungus from growing. And
he had him under his porch, didn't he?
And so the guy got off because he didn't really seem to have a lot of like evidence that pointed towards intention to sell, especially like the court precedent became, and then it's been upheld several times by the New Mexico Supreme Court, is that growing psilocybin mushrooms is not illegal because things just grow. You can't stop a thing from growing.
It's kind of right. Kind of.
They have a point, actually, when you think about it.
Not gonna knock that one. No, I like that one.
Like, technically, if someone just like threw some cannabis seeds into your backyard and they sprouted and you didn't realize it, you can get in trouble for that. Yeah, I'm talking about cannabis now. Like, if somebody threw some cannabis seeds in your backyard and you don't live in a place where you're allowed to grow it. You could get in trouble if you didn't even if you didn't realize they were growing there, you could potentially still get in trouble for having those plants on your property. And like that's ridiculous. Like things just grow.
And like, isn't there certain states where like
Legal
there's
precedent of
commonly
it do be
ditchweed?
like that. What are you saying? Sorry.
Isn't there like certain states where there's commonly ditchweed, like
Yes.
ruderalis or whatever? That weird cannabis strain that's between sativa and indica. That's just it's ditchweed. It's just really resilient plant matter. But
yeah, ruderalis before it's crossbred back to something else tends to be like very low potency, but it's very rugged.
Yeah. And it's very survivable. It's usually like crossed with one of the others. But I remember just reading like some weird thing about like, oh, the cops are busting all these people. And in reality, no, they're just trimming the weeds on the side of the road that were blocking up some of the ditches. And it wasn't even them who cut them. Legalize mids.
Legalize mids. This is a pro mids show.
Legal percent of it do be like that sometimes. Well, it do be like that.
It do be like that sometimes.
For real though.
It do be like that sometimes. By the way, I want to apologize to our audio listeners for whom this is going to be a particularly terrible episode because we looked at so many images today so far.
I also realized Samurai Cat, we did that in the Japanese dub.
Oh yeah, they're going to have great...
Not going to translate well. We're new. I'm new at this. I apologize.
The audio show is just completely unedited right now. That's just how it is. Sorry, folks.
Getting it raw.
Yeah, you know, okay, so forget universal basic income. We need universal basic gas. I was saying that the next stimmy should be like 2 pounds of weed. Don't send people money. Just send everybody 2 pounds of weed. It'll work itself out.
Why? What? No, let's not do that. Certain states are not legal. This seems like a bad idea. I don't want people getting in trouble. Don't suggest bad things.
I'm always going to suggest bad and irresponsible things. I'm sorry.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'll be the good one.
That's what I do. You know, release wild animals onto your local golf course.
No, don't do this.
And also throw your mids seeds onto the golf course.
I will be right back.
Yeah, folks, we're just having fun here. I don't know if our guest is gonna make it. Having some issues on that end. Not that we had to have a guest to have a good time, obviously, but we were hoping to have a friend swing by. We may wrap up soonish if he does not appear. In the meantime, though, I just want to say that this is Velvet Butcher Shop. We come to you live Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern. You can catch us recorded anytime on YouTube. There's also clips of the show sometimes. There's also an audio version that goes to Spotify. And that's currently very rough, but if you just really want to listen to it and only listen to it, I'm giving you that option. Yeah, we are a show that is going to hopefully be powered by viewers, listeners. So Ko-fi, Patreon, Velvet Butcher Shop, you can find us either platform. And Joe, do we have any final topics today that we want to get through, maybe?
I just wanted to say I apologize for that. I had to chase a cat out of here. It is biting my ankles and scratching my knees, and it hurt. And I'm sorry.
We need
I'll make sure my next one is catless.
No, we need a secondary camera that's pointing
my
at
legs?
your feet and legs. And you just switch to that camera and we just watch the cat claw the shit out of you.
I'm gonna end up on like Wiki Feet.
We will have to censor your feet.
I don't even know if that's a real thing. Is Wiki Feet a thing?
I think that is a thing. I think maybe. It sounds right.
I'm now terrified I might be on Wiki Feet.
You know, I actually don't post my feet. Like real talk.
I don't want to.
If I take a picture and I realize my feet are in it, I fucking crop it or take another picture. I do
Pretty
not.
hard to do.
I do not post. I do not post feet on the timeline. That is dangerous on Twitter. Let me tell you.
I feel like that's probably a bad idea. I'm still learning to Twitter.
Yeah, no, posting feet on Twitter is asking for it. It really is.
I guess like final subject wise,
anything in the news? Anything on your mind? Anything still
trying
in,
to
still
think
in our
like there's
archive?
nothing really striking.
I think we've pretty much covered it for today, folks.
Yeah, a
this
lot of
is
cat
Velvet
stuff.
Butcher Shop. We appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been a lot of fun, and we will catch you tomorrow at 1 Eastern once again, and we'll just talk about some more nonsense that we saw, heard, thought about, smelled, tasted. That's what we do here.
What are we tasting?
Maybe we'll do like a food episode when you come out here to visit. Like we'll go get some food
maybe.
and we'll taste some weird food together on stream.
I need some food, some good food.
I need some food. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Take care.